Okay, well, today I am very phlegmy, so I apologise if there's an extended amount of coffee, or just an increased amount of coffee. Whatever happens, I apologise for it. I'm trying quite hard to keep up a regular schedule. Reward or no reward, illness or no illness, okay? I'm married to this schedule, so that's what I'm doing. Well, Tuesday, come along again, same as ever. And what is it? Who knows? I do. It is Little Simz. Little Simz has released a new album. Let's have a look at it. Well, the thing about Little Simz, what to say? What you say? Well, Little Simz is really Little Simz. Is really in a class of her own in the UK hip hop scene. There's no one, as far as I'm aware, making anything like the artistic visions or the amount of scope specifically that Little Simz attempts with her work. And I wouldn't say the Little Simz is the best imaginable person doing this. I've had some issues, not really big issues, but specifically I don't vibe with, sometimes I might be introvert as much as I expected to. It's really ambitious. It's really got a lot of tracks, a lot of interesting production, but for me it actually doesn't deliver such an exciting finish, whereas I think No Thank You, with the generally sort of, you know, it's shorter in terms of track length and overall length, but the songs are a whole lot longer. I find a lot more exciting. I find it a lot more exciting and interesting. And you know, Grey Area also very exciting. Lots of fun stuff. And I have gone back to Stillness in Wonderland, but I didn't know about that at the time, and I think that's good. Anyway, the main thing here is that I don't know what to expect from this next album. It could be something, you know, similar to one of the previous ones. It could be tight and concise and well structured, like Grey Area. It could be sprawling and maybe more of a abstract vision. I mean, frankly, it could be anything. The ambition and the vision, as I think I've already said, of Little Simz. I mean, even the fact that she's called Little Simz as opposed to Lil Simz, that's quite meaningful, isn't it? It's sort of saying, no, we can spell things correctly. Although Sims, you know, with a Z. I don't know. It's fun. Anyway. Yeah, we've got 13 songs, 49 minutes, so we're not looking as long as Introvert, but longer than No Thank You. So, who knows? One of the tracks here is over 6 minutes. We're obviously not going to get to that today. Some good collaborators. We've got Obong Jayar. Oh, what was that? Something just came out. Oh, yeah. What in the world has happened to my mouse connection? Don't know. It must have got bashed somewhere. That's a shame. I'd probably best pull that out then. Poor thing. Look at it. It's got smashed. Oh dear. Yeah. So what was I saying? Collaborators, yeah. I don't know Moonchild Sanelli, who's on the second track, or Lydia Kito on the fourth track. Moses Sumney is an exceptional artist, though again, someone sort of like Little Simz, who, despite the vast scope and artistry of what they're doing. I don't think either of them have quite reached the pinnacle of what I'm looking for from them. Whatever that might be, I can't put a word on it. Yeah, loads of other people. Michael Kiwanuka, Wretch32, Yusuf Days, Sampha, all good stuff. So anyway, let's see what we're in for here. Thief.
June 4th and the night is fading.
Bass. Giving us, well, two distinct different things. One is around these, relatively stable, something like that. And then there's another which is a little bit more wordy, something like that. Then we've got guitar giving us something equally sort of spaced and not really guiding, not focused and driven, but something slightly more chordal. Let's hear it one more time. Okay, so quite nice there. We start with that E minor chord, and then the guitar has gives that G sharp there, giving us very, very soft G sharp, but nonetheless changing it to major.
June 4th and the night is fading.
Yeah, so by that second we've got a clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Yeah, that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1. I can't count it and play it, but you know what I mean. It's an equal 4, 4. And that's what we've got by that point. Before that, it feels a little more spacey. It probably is still 4/4 and quite clear. Relatively speedy, not too fast, but good propulsive pace. And yeah, then Little Simz comes in early, so we hear a big splash and crash as the drums come in at the end of that 4-beat cycle. But Little Simz comes in on 1, 2, da 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 da. So on the 2 and, so anacrusis, anacrusis. I was going to say anacrusizing us into the next section. Well, do we keep some of those elements in the next section? I presume so. Let's see.
How am I escaping? My reasons don't need explaining. 8 months to the Pisces season changes. Why is this Gemini hating? No, you thought my career right now will be failing, but my ship won't stop sailing. You talk about God when you have a God complex. I think you're the one that needs saving.
Yeah. So we actually get pretty much the same thing from both the guitar and the bass, including the first part. It's more like that, the bass riff, I think. I'll just check that. I'll just make sure I'm doing it right.
Right now we'll be failing, but my ship won't stop sailing. You talk about God when you have a God complex. I think you're the one that needs saving.
Very off the beat there, isn't it? We get this really heavily on the beat, and almost everything else is off the beat. So even though we're not on the beat, we're establishing the beat by its absence, by the effect of playing against it, which is cool. So the other thing that's added here is the drums, and the drums are giving us a nice it's like a bum bum ba ba ba. Relatively fast it's got semiquavers, which none of the other things do apart from Little Simz herself. Yeah, it's repetitious over about four beats, but not over 2. So if we get over the first 2 beats something like bum bum bap to bap, then we don't get that over the second set of 2 beats.
How am I escaping? My reasons don't need explaining.
So emphasis there is on, I guess, the second beat, that one, and then on the 3 and. So that's where we're getting the emphasis from the drums. Is that different for the vocals?
June 4th and the night is fading. How am I escaping? My reasons don't need explaining.
Okay, so fading, we got it on the first beat. Was that right? Yeah, let's hear it again. So that would be the 4th beat after that.
June 4th and the night is fading. How am I escaping? My reasons don't need explaining. 8 months.
Okay, so the first time it hits on the first 8 and then it's on 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 again. So it's the same rhyme, but it's hitting in not necessarily the same place, but sometimes the same place, and that means that the lines are all slightly different lengths, which is nice.
I see season changes. Why is this Gemini hating?
Okay, so there we had hating as well, but we had a sort of internal changes, which was almost the same rhyme.
8 months to the Pisces season changes. Why is this Gemini hating?
Season, yeah. Season sort of occupies the rhyme place, but is obviously not a rhyme. Season, and then changes is a bit closer, and that comes on the first beat. So some interesting internal stuff here. I won't go over all of it. I'll just pick out stuff that I think is really cool.
You thought my career right now will be failing, but my ship won't stop sailing. You talk about God when you have a God complex. I think you're the one that needs saving.
Yeah, so there we had 2 quite close to each other, one on the 1, one on the 4, and then we had basically a whole bar with God in it, God and a God complex, but that didn't have any of these rhymes at all, and then we brought it back for its most comfortable position, which is on the 4th there. So it's almost like we've got a short one to begin with, and then another short one, and then a long one, and that's our pattern. So it's like that.
I was under the spell and now my spirit's awakened.
Okay.
My life can't be
Maybe
controlled
not.
by no pagan, so I don't know why you came in.
Okay, pagan came in. So the rhyme has morphed, which is nice. The backing seems pretty much the same as it was. It's nice to have such a long repetition in the backing, so everything comes back together after basically a whole 4-bar cycle. Is that right? No, if we're going that speed, it's going to be an 8-bar cycle, isn't it? Yeah, an 8-bar cycle, so we get two bars on each little bit, I think, really, which is nice and long. And then yeah, the other thing I was gonna say, yeah, we're not just always having it short, long. Here we had more like a long and then 2 shorts, so it changes up. It doesn't end up lying down in a particular easy, functional, straightforward rhyme scheme.
From 100 down to new, and yes it is all your fault. Your name weren't popping until I watched, but you and I did a whole lot.
Now, did we actually have that particular guitar thing at the beginning? Let me just check that. Oh yeah, we did. That's the thing. Yep. Something like that. Okay, now it felt like we were going to a new section now. As we get in as well, so the vocals sort of get some electronic manipulation on them.
I watched when you and I did a whole lot of things. And you know what it means. La 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 la. Selling dreams.
Wow, that's weird.
I watched
Okay.
when I did a whole lot of
Thief. So, before, pretty much rooted around E minor. But then this section comes in, Thief, and the bass is on a B. We've still got the drums, but the guitar seems to have disappeared for the moment. And then we've got that, and you know what it means, with the bow, 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 bow of the bass. So they're locked in doing the same thing. So we had the B at the start, then we have this line which is on G's, A's and B's, ends on A. It's also seemingly up an octave in the echo, but that's lesser than the other things. Get a bit of a chord as we get in with the A there, A minor. So it's more like B minor, A minor. And then that. Yeah, let's hear that again. Yeah, la 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 la. So this is interesting. This is giving us F. Now, the B, the G, and the A fit quite nicely with what we were doing before. There's those two. And the guitar was doing this, which had F sharps in it. So then, in this section, getting that F, that's really surprising. It's changed the mode from basically what was, a comfortable minor to now a Phrygian mode. So Phrygian generally has this association with being darker, slightly more aggressive. And that's definitely coming across in the words as well, isn't it? La 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 la. Very aggressive, no, but I mean, thief, right? It's accusing someone and it's aggressive. And the la la la, therefore, has this connotation of like laughing at someone or dadaistically smiling through the pain, something like that. Yeah. La 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 la. And then we've got some more words, but it goes from the F to the E. Nice, and that's actually echoed in some kind of synth up a few octaves. The bass is doing something like that, slightly more complicated. Nice big fill there from the drums, but the drums are broadly occupying the same space and giving the same emphasis. Yeah. So this synth that's up here is really nuts and seems to just be descending chromatically, really uncomfortably. And while the voice is selling nights, selling dreams. Yeah. So where does it descend to? Yeah. So it does a chromatic drop all the way from this F, the uncomfortable note, to that C. And we get lots of uncomfortable notes on the way while the bass is still keeping on going with that. And then we do somewhat of a octave slide. And then we're back in with what feels like the verse section. Okay, but the verse section is much less confrontational than the chorus section there. I wasn't expecting a sing-along chorus. I don't know if I've heard one of those from Little Simz before. So that's exciting. But yeah, it's certainly not in the style of an Eminem sing-along chorus, which are often very sort of notey, high, goofy in some ways. This is much more aggressive and angry.
Got no shame, no pride. Why do you lie? Why do you lie? Why do you steal? Why do you spill blood and then go hide?
Okay, it seems to have a slightly different relationship to the beat, the verse here. There's a bit of a sound in there as well.
Got no shame, no pride. Why do you lie? Why do you lie?
We're still heavy on the fourth beat of every 2 bars. So that why do you lie? Why do you lie? And that's also true in the next one. But because I guess lie is a 1-syllable thing, we don't have that da-da kind of come away from it in the same way as we did in the previous one.
Why do you steal? Why do you spill blood and then go hide? Why do you take the rule book from people that hurt you and use it as a guide?
Yeah. So we are still really emphasizing that fourth thing as the place where our main rhyme is going, but there's a lot more repetition of lines like why do you lie and why do you steal.
Lucky that I got out now, it's a shame now, I really feel sorry for you, why?
Okay, although at least there was in the first 2 lines, less so in those more florid lines.
15, and my brain is fucking fried. This person I've known my whole life, coming like the devil in disguise. My jewel was on the floor, my eyes never been so wide. But I quickly found the door the moment I realised you were there.
Yeah. So there, we didn't rest on the fourth beat. We had the you were, and then moving straight into thief on the first beat of the next section, which feels a little more like an easy transition. The previous time it felt a little stranger, didn't it? Let's hear that again.
I watched when you and I did a whole lot of
A whole lot's a thief. Yeah, I don't know. Slightly less well executed, but here, really nice.
But I quickly found the door the moment I realised you were there. And you know what it means.
So this is the same as the previous section, but I think we've got more strings in this section, a little bit thicker. In fact, they are in that other section, aren't they? Doing something similar to the guitar, something like that.
The floor, my eyes never been so wide. But I quickly found the door the moment I realised you were there.
Yeah, so that guitar is doing that. So we've got these 2 clashy notes being held together, G and F sharp, with a lower sort of stabilizing note, giving us our sort of key center, which is very much E minor there. That added 9th of the F sharp. When that moves up from the B to the C there, it makes it feel much more like what the bass is putting down, which is a G. G minor 7 with I guess a 6th as well, or a 13th, G minor 13th. Ooh. Anyway, that's small potatoes. It's not very important, but it gives this softer, sweeter, more emotional, or more honestly vulnerable feeling to this verse section, which then is very different in the chorus. Let's hear it. Yeah, so we've got these strings holding on, seemingly maybe doing a little tremolo, but they're coming in and out of this quite wishy-washy space, which nonetheless is quite sparse. Even the bass isn't really holding on here. These are holding on, but they're coming in and out, and then the drums are really just filling up the space. There we go. The synth coming down again. Okay, another verse section. So this is kind of what we expect. I've been doing a deep dive on Aurora, as some people might know. And Aurora, after the second chorus, almost always has a bridge, but bridges are not so common in hip-hop. They're not as important nearly as the verses. The verses are very powerful, and changing it up is just quite rare. So we'll see what goes on, but this is completely standard to have this third verse here.
Making me feel like I was the guest, but I pay for that jet. When I think back to it,
Jet again being on the fourth there, but we had guest as well. Guest, but I pay for that jet. So guest came on the first beat, and this seems to be the most common flow, I guess, here. So, emphasizing for one line on the first beat and one line on the fourth beat. It's not always the way. It's inventive and quite a complicated mosaic, but that seems to be something holding together through this piece.
joke, but we know there's truth in jest. Your company going down the hill, thank God I never signed no deal. I'm trying to forgive myself, I don't need to forgive you so I can heal. Years of living on eggshells, no one can believe that you meant well.
Okay, in this section we don't have the strings, but we have a thicker guitar, more fuzzy kind of sound.
Part of myself in the process, can't bring back those dead cells.
Okay, wasn't there for much, and now we do have the strings. Building into this next, again, leading manipulation, into the next bit. Another chorus. Okay, things seem a little more present here, and not swirling in and out as they did in the previous one.
I sit and think, what did I do? But that's what abusers do.
Okay, fourth verse. Fourth verse, I would say, is pretty rare, even in hip hop, but it no doubt comes up. Anyway, this one is interesting because the drums have disappeared. We've gone basically to the intro feel, the intro texture level. Just the two instruments plus the voice.
Make you think you're crazy.
And as well as that, a lot of the reverb that was around what was going on is gone. And so the voice is really close, really close.
Second guess your every move. Psychological mental abuse will leave more than a bruise. Will leave more than scars. June 20th I was torn apart. Therapist asking what's on my mind. Where do I start?
There was that ba-da-da-da. I guess that could be the strings as well, but it's through some kind of distortion.
I'm in a survival mode, banging my drum in tribal mode.
Drums are back, obviously, aren't they?
I bet you wishing that I would fold. I ain't never listened when I was told.
Oh, they're building. You can feel a lot of build in the drums there. Let's hear it again. Pretty normal. Okay, we've got those bigger open hi-hats. Yeah, splash, splash, splash. Thief, of course. Okay, so again we lose the drums at the beginning of that chorus. It feels like they're just about to come back in. We lose them and we're just left hanging. And you know what a... And then we're coming back down again. Yeah, it's scary. The bass is just doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 on that note, and we've got these slightly creepy ascending lines from the strings. Let's hear it again.
When I was told, and I was told you the thief, and you know what it means. La 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 la.
Yeah, the drums are absolutely giving it beans now, aren't they? I really like, what happened, la la la, over that part.
And you know what it means. La 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 la.
Yeah, dum ba dum ba dum. So the bass went up an octave just for the moment there, but okay. But it was a relatively small thing. Overall, everything's just really on at the moment, isn't it? But it's interesting that a little thing like that is poking through, showing that there's not actually just a copy-paste job done on this. Maybe each section is actually individually played. Clearly the drums are played, aren't they? This is not a patch going on here. They're too wild and too free. It's very exciting, and it sounds like a double chorus. New thing in there. Bow, bow, bow. So yeah, the drums there, not giving us our classic 1 and 2 and 3 and, but giving us 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so there's the 3 and. Here's keeping it up. Yeah, and the bass all the way up there. Okay, what's this last ending gonna be? Very similar to the beginning, but with going off into the outer outskirts of the song. Nice, straight into the next song. Love it. So it almost acts like the intro to this song and the intro to the next song. Nice, that was very powerful. Very powerful beginning, straightforward. Not too, so in the light of sometimes I might be introvert, there's a slight expectation of really grandiose openings. But here, it's just straight in with a good song. Powerful, aggressive, full adrenaline pumping opener, I guess. Lovely. Flood then. Okay, what's going to happen here? We've gone straight in. Okay, immediately lower on the reverbs, lower on the space. We're quite front and center here, but we're also quite fast. Quite propulsive with the bass and the drums. Yeah, strong rhythm, and the bass is doing its own thing. Yeah, it's a really nice. So it's on E again, but the way the bass is being played, you're kind of getting a few harmonics from the bass. So the harmonic profile of it is changing with each pluck, which is quite a subtle thing, but really satisfying to hear as it extends. Might be something else linked to the bass as well. As I walk this wicked ground, keep me away from the devil's palm. I am the... Okay. Wow, well, okay, so unexpected intro of the verse there. We had probably Obong JR singing. As I walk this wicked ground. As I walk this giving us more of a major kind of feel, maybe a Dorian feel. What's that first note? As I walk this wicked ground, keep me away from the devil's palm. Yeah, so more Dorian kind of feel. That walk the devil. It's not as I walk. Okay, so maybe a little bit brighter, but it also feels a little like that brightness is contradicted by the heaviness and aggression of the lower rhythm section. Yes, and we get a little bit of that melody, and then suddenly Little Simz comes in. Oh yeah, and there's a sudden surge there. I think it's just that the bass has suddenly gone through a big distortion effect just to boost it hugely. It's playing the same thing, but they've just turned on the pedal and turned it back off. How dare you? I was shutting down the world and it scared you. Can't hold a girl down as this bad. Shame nice in my nose and my hairdo. Not the type that would trip off nostalgia. Okay, so here is it just that? Hang on. Is it? It sort of feels like I've lost where 1 is. So I'm going to go back to the beginning, and I'm going to count ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I had.
nice in my nose and my hairdo.
Again, we're emphasizing very, very much on the 4 here. Hairdo, how dare you, is coming on the 4th beat of the bar, similar to what we had in the previous one. So we were on E, we have a moment going to A here as well, for a couple of bars. There's also an extra vocal there. That's the first time we've heard two vocals doing the same thing. Can't hold a girl down. Yeah, both vocals there. But then just for that line. And then we're back to E. Okay, everything disappeared just for that moment, didn't it? But we got this strange atmospheric synthesizer effect just for that one line. Let's hear it again. 1, 2. Yeah. Silence is louder. It's quite a nice one. So the rhythm of the lines here is more consistent. In Thief, we let a little bit more space for the lines to run on, but here we're getting da 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 ga da ga da ga ga. Not exactly that every single time, but that time constraint every single time. Coming in just after the 1, but da 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 da, and then ending just before the 1 in the next thing. So we get this big hit on 1, no vocals interrupting that. They're coming after it. It's well crafted, I guess. Bah, 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 again. Strong, powerful, sudden noises in this. It's going from, yeah, what is soft but aggressive with the drums and the bass to sudden bursts of powerful noise. It's not really changing the texture. It's just blowing out the overall sound of it. It's an interesting one. I guess that kind of changes the texture, doesn't it? Okay. So again, we got a bit of Obon JR there, but then almost seems like it was cut off early. I am the... Does it actually say what he says there? No, I am the... Yeah, so it's cut off early. That's really cool. Yeah, so much anger as well.
Shit stay flooded, niggas didn't believe in my hustle. Could've drowned, but I stayed with a mic. Why you niggas all bald, don't bite? They obsessed with my genius plan, and that's being as free as I can. They want you to...
Okay, it feels like the drums are getting louder. Maybe there's more going on in the drum part. Let's hear it again.
Niggas all bald, don't bite. They obsessed with my genius plan, and that's being as free as I can. They want...
Yeah, there is another drum going, I think, on each quaver. It's not particularly noticeable, but it's there.
Stop, they may leave you to rot, but that's just not my frequency, man.
Okay, there he is again. Okay, so this time we didn't get the I am there, and we got pa 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 pa. It's dub effects, aren't they? Similar to dub music and how it puts lots of delays and interesting reverb effects on reggae recordings. Strange synth come in like a mosquito going from left to right in the pan. Okay, maybe this is Moonchild Sanelli now, but that's a weird addition. Quite a big textural change. We've still got some elements. We've still got the bass pounding away, but the synth disappears, Obon JR disappears, and the drums have changed quite considerably here, giving us a much more florid set of notes. So yeah, specifically that kind of sticky sound is giving us the semiquavers, isn't it? Yeah, those just sounds that come at the end of the bar. They're really fun. It's a really interesting idea. I don't know if it's Like at this point, it feels less aggressive and in your face, and more just like a funny meme thing to do. But maybe I'll change my tune by the end of it.
Play your position.
Back in a verse. And we're back with the lesser drums. But we've got two voices doing this. Bit of a choral element. There's also in the background just being held, a pedal. Yeah, that I mean, lovely distortion and sudden big reverb on that Drag You to Hell. That's fun. Scary stuff. The double vocals, what do they do? It makes it less of a quiet, introspective kind of output. It makes it more like it's unified and forward focused and and more in your face overall. It's just that thicker texture, slightly more, grit and nasality on the other voice as well. So yeah, feels very in your face.
Number 4, don't react to a clone. Don't be the one throwing stones. Never eat with the hyenas, cause they will look at you as bones. Number 5.
Yeah, extra synth, quite low this one. Ooh, around there. Coming in, well, there's a filter on it, so sometimes it's whoop, suddenly getting a lot louder. There's the chorus again. Okay, the other voice here is getting a lot more present. The main one is still keeping with relative whispers through this section, but the other one is getting higher, louder, more in your face. Okay, we're getting a lot more drums all of a sudden just there.
6, don't quit. Keep building it brick by brick. Takes $1 million to send you to prison, $1 million to get you a house in the sticks.
Yeah, just for that one line, to give it a real presence, the bass dropped out, and we just got the most simple version of our drums, and the two voices saying the same thing in the same time over the top. And then we come back to our hook, this Abang Jaya line. I wonder if he's going to say what he is. I am the... Maybe it's from a song, I don't know.
Wicked ground, keep me away from the devil's palm. As I walk this wicked ground, keep me away from the devil's palm. I am the light.
Yeah, we got it, didn't we? I am the... And I have no idea what he said. Light. Cool. Okay. Yeah, so is this our chorus? What would you call this? I don't think it really matters. But it's, well, it's not very tuneful. It's it's a particularly repetitive line. Da 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 ba da 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 ba da ba da ba da. Simple rhythm. I mean, if I knew what these words meant, I'm not even feeling comfortable enough to attempt pronunciation. But yeah, I don't know what language it is. It's fun. Looks cool. But yeah, if you know what that is, maybe this is a really good one to say along to. The meaning might well make quite a big difference there. Okay, and then yeah, did we have the drums in that section? Yeah. So in this section is where we get that digga 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 digga. We got that last time too. A little bit. Yeah. Big booms sometimes, aren't there? Brief drop there. Ping, wasn't there? There was like a ping from the cash register there, which was nice. There it is again. Yeah, just before the end. Bong, bong, bong. I think the bass sometimes there went up to that B flat as well. So the songs here have just led one into the next so far. It's really cool. That one, well, we basically had the same groove going through the whole thing. Straightforward bass. Like that. Nice, you know, if the B flat's there, and I think it is, it's just a nice little extra bit of aggressive colour. And those drums as well. And rather than the main importance being how different sections come in and go out, like in the previous track where we had a very clear verse and a chorus, here it's more like we've got this selection of things which we can layer all on top of each other, but we choose to do that in more cohesive ways where they don't get in each other's way, and also that gives us a certain kind of structure. It's not really a verse-chorus structure at all. We do get that Obang Jaya hook coming in from time to time, and the Moonchild Sinelli bit is, well, it's almost like the focal point of the song, because it is where the texture is thickest. We've got the most going on rhythmically, and it only comes in right in the middle of the song and right at the end of the song. So I don't know, it's its own thing. I don't think that conforms very easily to any standard structural model or anything like that, but it's all built on one particular straightforward groove. So maybe that's all there is to it. But really, it's the details, isn't it? It's the details. We like the details. We could talk about the details forever, but we are going to move on and have us look at some other details. Okay, we've again gone straight into a new song. Okay, so here we have again the 1, 2 and 3 and in the first bar, but then the second bar 1, 2 and 3, 4, different, with a cough as well, which is nice.
Yeah, my testing, 1, 2.
Again with a bass riff, something like that.
1, 2. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. Let's hear it one more time.
Testing, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's the same in both bars, but it's focusing on that 3 and in the first bar, ba-dum, and in the second bar 3, 4. So we're really emphasizing that rhythmic distinction between the two bars there. So far, just setting up on the mic from Little Simz.
Testing, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Yeah, okay.
And then, yeah, another voice. Yeah, I think it's on.
Here we go.
Some more coughs. Here we go.
Who's that creeping in my window? I get a hot flash whenever the wind blows.
What is this? Very posh voice all of a sudden. So not the... Do we call it Cockney these days? Is Cockney the voice that people have in London? I mean, not that everyone in London has the same voice either, but more of this kind of thing, right? So, yeah, that's my pale imitation of Little Simz's normal voice, and then this one now is more like my normal voice, isn't it? But a little more put on, a little more RP, received pronunciation. Interesting. And the drums cut out, but the bass didn't, as that was coming in. Again, these kind of dropouts, they work for a reframing, a re-perspectivating experience. They're suddenly making you focus on something that is new. And it's exciting to do that.
In my window.
Window, yes. You hear that longer O rather than window. 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 O. Maybe more bright kind of sound from a normal Londoner. But window. Rather than O.
Who's Who's that creeping in my window? I get a whole...
Still no creeping, though. Anyone who is pronouncing these things correctly would make sure that they would pronounce every G at the end of a word and every T at the end of the word to make sure that everything is pronounced very clearly and precisely. But there's it's more of a mock, isn't it? It's more of a mock pronunciation, RP, rather than a well-rehearsed and deliberate imitation.
Creeping in my window. I get a hot flash whenever the wind blows. Nothing to my name now when everybody knows. When I'm in...
It's good, because we're getting those extra interstitial vocals on that fourth beat, which is normally where we would have emphasised, isn't it, in the previous two. But this time it's whenever the wind blows. So that coming like 2, 3, and then we get yeah, or whatever on the fourth one. So we're emphasising on that 3, and that goes very well with the backing, doesn't it? Because the backing is on 3, 4. So we get the end on 3, and then this kind of jokey 4. The rhythm is stopping around that bit as well. We're not getting constant quavers. But so it really feels like a comedy track. It's well made. Good.
Of cash, I go down to the bingo. Last night I asked Jenny for a quid.
We got a boom, didn't we? From a guitar, just in the right earphone there.
The 5th time I'm used to taking the piss. A bottle of Rio and some chicken and chips in my fuck me up pumps and my Winehouse quiff. We love you, Amy.
Great. Yeah, reference to Amy Winehouse. Fuck Me Pumps song. Yeah. Winehouse quiff. Don't know. The delivery is so unsimilar to the previous two, isn't it? Where we've had this really religious connection to the rhythm. But here, you know, it's not fuck me up, it's fuck me up. Right? There's this real blood. It makes it feel almost drunk. Maybe it is.
To my Winehouse quiff. We love you, Amy. Who's that knocking at the front door? It's the mailman. Bills, please no more. I'm 20-something young with my priorities straight. I need to buy booze and I need to buy a drawer.
There's a little bit of guitar there, just giving us a harmonic. Yeah, that one. And maybe that one. This is saying we're in A major, really, but we've not got that much information about it, and it doesn't really matter. A major with a flat 7th, so Mixolydian mode.
Summer, I'm going out every night. Anyone can get it. I ain't scared of a fight. You can be down or be on the other side, but this is my idea of the perfect life.
Same rhythms, but we just had a big change to the harmony, a little bit of a change to the texture. We got those sing-song vocals. Da, da, da. Let's hear it one more time.
This is my idea of the perfect life.
Let's go from the beginning of it.
Fight. You can be down or be on the other side, but this is my idea of the perfect life.
Yeah, so it goes to C, and then we have a nice perfect cadence, just a circle of fifths actually. C to therefore F to B flat to E flat, and then we suddenly drop back to A again. The bass is what's governing that most of that change. It's not doing just the same riff, it's more complicated than that, and we'll hear it one more time.
The other side, but this is my idea of the perfect life.
Yeah, basically every bar there, it's doing a slightly different thing. Feels alive and exciting in that respect. Again, in this track, we haven't really got big reverbs. We haven't got big spaces. Everything's pretty close. What is that? This is a proper sing-along chorus, isn't it? In the style of Eminem. Something like that. Let's hear it one more time.
Life.
That's fun. So there's a little bit of a, whether intentional or not, sort of suggestion that we've got a sharp 4 in here, that E flat or that D sharp. Okay, it's not there though. When the guitar is joining, it's very clearly a 4. Okay, the guitar's doing it down an octave. Yeah, distorted, relatively heavy, but bright kind of sound, positive. Yeah, this is a real trashing of some people, isn't it?
Who's that over there giving it the big un? Sorry, officer, I don't want to go to prison. I know that I was taught, but I probably didn't listen. But taught myself to fire when I needed ammunition.
It's almost like there's like a bum-tish at the end of each of these. Ha! Just like lol at what you've just said. It's fun, but it is much less serious than the previous 2 tracks, so the change of mood is taking me by surprise.
I taught myself to sing and I taught myself to shout. I taught myself how to get by and go without. I taught myself to make a proper English breakfast, cause I'm a little teapot, short and stout.
Not even rhyming. But yeah, proper English breakfast, hash browns is really funny. Hash browns are really good. They're kind of like, fried potatoes. It's good. Yeah.
That girl all alone in the crowd, cause all of yous are followers and do it for the clout. I can't afford to be what everybody's on. The only way I can afford is if you do a discount. Next summer I'll probably be overseas.
Guitar, it's pretty high. Up on an A, doing a unison bend, where you bend one note to match the other. It's quite nice. Yeah, has a association with old, real, well, at this stage probably like Grandad rock. As well as that, we've got more percussion in here. I almost didn't notice. Let's see if we had it in the previous verse.
I can't afford to be what everybody's on.
We do. Can't tell you what it is, but we have more percussion, low hit, probably hand hit drums, with a but kind of sound, and we've got a big reverb around those in particular, so they feel like they're from a different world to the rest of this track, but then not very interruptive. They don't govern the feeling, so it's not too bad. I mean, I wouldn't say it's bad at all, but the kind of the difference between the reverbs, the difference between the spaces that these two things live in, doesn't really feel very important in the focus of the song.
The only way I can afford is if you do a discount. Next summer I'll probably be overseas. I speak a lot of French. Oui. Maybe just.
So those guitar bends took the place of the group vocal, giving the sort of commentary on what's just been said. They took the place of that, just going whack. It's like ha. It's really just a symbolic laugh, and wee is very funny. Yeah.
Oui. Maybe just a hater, cause my future's bright.
Okay, so in this section now, it's our set of chords again. We've got the sing-song vocals again, and we've also what did we have? The drums. The drums were going much more. Almost like double time. Let's hear it.
A lot of French. Oui. Maybe just a hater, cause my future's bright. And this is my idea of the perfect life.
Yeah, so totally different groove there from the drums. And then, are we going straight into the chorus? Yeah. So this time the guitar didn't come to double, but we did have someone singing it down the octave, which I didn't notice the first time. Yeah, I try not to make too much of people singing out of tune, but here that na 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 isn't really that accurate, so that gives it this throwaway, not really caring feel that is really appropriate for the rest of the song, isn't it? This whole thing has been a send up of people not thinking about their impact, basically, and their absolute, at least this is how I've interpreted it, just being completely oblivious to how absolutely stupid they seem while bragging and yeah, just being proud of absolutely idiotic things about them. But that might well be filtered through my lens. Anyway, let's carry on. Wow. So despite the singing not being the strongest, we just got a two-part vocal thing. Let's hear it again. The guitar has now come in to double. Yeah, so the other one, da 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 da, simple line, but it goes in the opposite direction to the other one. So they start on the same note, and then they go in the opposite direction, and then they are in octaves there. Da 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 da. Yeah, but they're really moving in opposition to each other in contrary motion, which is nice. It's an unnecessarily complex thing to do, but I think it definitely steps the song up another notch in terms of complexity, excitement, interest. And it feels more gangy as well. It feels like there's some real idiots singing the "Oh we dude."
Yeah, so don't be looking at my face.
Drums have changed here, haven't they? It's a side stick on every beat. The only thing that's keeping the previous rhythm is that bass lick.
It's weird. I am somebody that they feared. I just want to play my bass here.
And we're playing bass, and there's what else is there? Yeah, flutes, I guess, but they're probably not real flutes. Some kind of synth flute. They could be real flutes, I suppose. It's a nice way to end the song as well, just with another jokey ending that is a meta commentary on the track itself. Yeah, it's fun. It doesn't necessarily have a connection to the I'm just going to tilt this over here. Just so I get that plant, because that's very important for me. Really shows my depth. Yeah, I've got a plant. I keep it pretty much alive. It's not like died on me at all. Yeah, having that bass thing there, you know, why do we have this bass in the song? Oh, well, we've given it a reason. It doesn't answer why we have bass in Thief and Flood as well, but it plays a reason in Young by itself, so that's totally fine. Okay. Oh, so quite a mood switch up there, but I guess there's a through line of being angry at people, which is funny considering this is Lotus, right? Why do we care about other people if we're eating the lotus? I don't know. Only okay, this is lovely. This feels like an Afro-Cuban kind of thing. The Young went straight back into this track again, so we really have been zooming straight in with each track. There's no let up at all. Yeah, da 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 da. Yeah, da 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 da. That's great. It's a really nice clave. I don't know if it's a proper clave that's used regularly, but what are we emphasizing there? One E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Yeah, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. That's great. Really good way of fitting 5 against 4, 5 against 8, I suppose. 1 E and a, 2. No, yeah, against 4. Yeah, but they're not equal. But it feels almost like it's a 5 beat equal thing across 4. And in the end, isn't that all we need? It's a cool thing to do. And as well as that, we've got very nice sounding drums all together. A little bit of space on them, so coming more away from the close track that we've had on Young and Flood, and just more space, maybe more concert stage feeling for these. And the bum on the bass as well. Very boomy bass drum, not very clear, but definitely there.
You wanna get swept in my BM, yes. Brunch in Soho with Michelin star chefs. Stepping out of place, smelling like success. Can't take a break from making dumb.
So this is more overall jazz influenced, isn't it? Or at least Central American kind of style. Going down into South America as well. Bossa Nova maybe an influence here. So we're going sort of like, which are not the most complicated chords, but it's an interesting change, and I think we've probably got the 7th in both of those from the bass. We've got piano in here, which we haven't had in the previous tracks. It's mainly drums and bass, which is the heart of this, but we do have other things on top: guitars, vocals, and now some piano.
Yes, brunch in Soho with Michelin star chefs. Stepping out of place.
Yeah, there are some extra notes in there, but I can't quite make it out really. Yeah, and it's D sus4 to D, and then E sus4 to E.
Like success, can't take a break from making dumb.
I think, yeah. Oh, it's not actually, is it? Oh no, it is. Just had a mind melt.
Check summer, spend my M's, pass through the ends. Tattoo on HS, saying SIMZ.
Yeah, cool. Let's listen to that again and think about the rhythm of the voice then.
You wanna get swept in my BM, yes. Brunch in Soho with Michelin star chefs. Stepping out of place, smelling like success.
Again, we're emphasizing the 4. But that has a bit of a different feel now because we've got longer beats. So in the previous tracks where the tempo is higher, we would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But here the tempo is more like 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. So emphasizing the 4th beat gives us a lot more space after that beat. Feels quite different to the previous ones where we've been doing that.
Can't take a break from making dumb checks.
Da da ba da ba da ba da da. Just generally a great rhythm. Like it.
I'ma spend my M's, pass through the ends. Tattoo on HS, saying SIMZ. I know you wanna live your dreams, baby. Girl from the hood, turn into a queen, baby.
Yeah, so there the baby is a new emphasis on the 3 and E. And a. So just before the 4, the and a. So the 4 then hits just in the drums, which is nice. The piano has started to do something slightly more complicated in this last one.
Tattoo on their chest saying SIMZ. I know you wanna live your dreams, baby. Yo, from the hood, turn into a queen.
Yeah, so something like that. Yeah. Have we just changed chords altogether?
SIMZ. I know you wanna live your dreams, baby.
No.
Yo, from the hood, turn into a queen, baby.
We might have two different schema going on here. Before, it was quite the piano and the bass were fitting together quite well, I thought.
My M's pass through the ends, tattoo. On their chest saying SIM.
Have I just been doing this weirdly up a tone? I'm really confused. I'm going to listen to the whole thing again.
You wanna get swept in my BM, yes. Brunch in Soho with Michelin star chefs. Stepping out of place, smelling like success. Can't take a break from making dumb checks.
Yeah, for some reason I have. I don't really understand that. But what we really have here is more C sus4 to C and then D sus4 to D. And for some reason I was really struggling with that.
Spend my M's, pass through the ends. Tattoo on their chest saying SIMZ. I know you wanna live your dreams, baby. Yo, from the hood, turn into a queen.
Yeah, dum dum bum ba dum. That rhythm is quite off the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just those last two which come back onto the quaver beat. 1, 2, 1 E and a 2 E and a bum bum da da 2, 3, 4. Right? Why do we think of the beat not as that 1, 2, 3, 4 fast rhythm? You totally could. It's not how I perceive it. I think these longer beats bum, ba bum, ba bum, ba bum, make it more exciting because there's more going on in each individual beat. And we have this slower thing happening at the same time as all this fast intricacy. I really like that. Why I don't apply it to other tracks, it's more of a subjective thing. I couldn't give you a full reason as to when to use it in one way and when to use it in another way. But here it really feels like a laid back dance. 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, rather than a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
Baby. And we blessed, no stress to impress. In my arm, yeah, let it go.
Yeah, so that section, we do have more complicated harmony going on because the bass is keeping to its mainly 1 and 5 stuff on the C, but the piano is giving us more of a B flat major 7 chord there, which then resolves to, well, kind of to a C chord, and then the bass moves up. We keep on the C chord for a little bit longer, and then we go to the D chord halfway through that bar. So we've complexified the harmony quite considerably since the beginning. It still has the same feeling of that sus4 chord, but there's just a little more to the harmony, and it's clearer and it's got its own melody. So yeah, so overall more full, more exciting, more sort of sexy as well.
Vest, London to Jamaica, Rome, I boon them. When you see the Rasta, you have to salute them.
Yeah, so again we're back to emphasizing the 4 da 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 ba da ba ba. So on the and 4 really, which is nice.
We ain't here for that hateful stuff. It's funny how they always wanna hate to love.
So there again we've moved off it It's not so important as it is in the previous tracks. There's a little more freedom with the thing. And yeah, Hate to Love is emphasizing the 3 and the E just before. So sometimes that's happening, sometimes we're getting a full but beat on the 4. Maybe 4 emphasis.
It's you I think of on my day to day.
Okay, what was the textural change there?
We
Drums.
ain't here for all that hateful stuff. It's funny how they
we
always
just
wanna
lose?
hate to love. It's you I think of on my day to day.
It's still there, but the hi-hat has come much further back in the space, probably because these were real recorded drums. The hi-hat bleeds into the other tracks, so you can't fully get rid of it very easily. So it's still here, but it's much less apparent. Presumably they just muted that mic, which was for the hi-hat. And so yeah, we get this slightly more warm, intimate feeling space with a little less rhythmic complexity.
It's only you that got me thinking safe to say, huh?
And then it comes back. Okay. In stark contrast to the previous track, we've got really good singing here. Ah, yeah. Lovely stuff. Really high. Little Simz's voice isn't particularly high. Just, yeah, kind of hanging out. Yeah, relatively low actually. So then this sweet falsetto voice coming in here is really nice. We've got some choral vocals in the background too. Not particularly complicated ones. I think it's 2 different voices in the background there and that one main melody doing slightly different things. Yeah, all feeding into this polyrhythmic mass that is really heavily associated with Afro-Cuban styles. So we are really doing a good homage here. See what I mean about as far as I'm aware, and granted I am not steeped in UK hip hop, but I've never heard anyone trying this kind of thing in UK hip hop. And you could argue it's not cutting edge because it's more rooted in traditional musical styles. But it is cutting edge in a certain way, in that it is people of a certain culture embracing a different culture or a related musical, history or connection there. Regardless of whether it's related or not, it's the embracing of a different style, and not just doing it, but putting it in the framework of their own style. I just love that stuff. I love it when the Mars Volta takes Central American or Mexican styles of music and puts it in progressive rock and adds metal in there for good measure. That's hugely exciting. I love it when let's say Bitches Brew, which is not admittedly my favourite Miles Davis album, but the birth of fusion music there, which has some connection to like folk traditions, jazz obviously, and an R&B or a rock influence in there as well. It just makes music that is indescribable by any particular genre label. It makes it therefore the perfect place for exploration, not just for the maker but for the listener. The listener does not know what to expect. And in the same way here, we have come to what connected to a South American tradition of music, but it's a UK hip-hop artist. I love this kind of thing, and Little Simz is doing this better than anyone else. So I really hope that she gets the numbers of the others as well. Like 4 million's nothing to sniff at, nearly 5 million. But realistically, this is way better music than Dave, for instance. I did like Dave's Psychodrama album, but Dave seems to have really knocked it into the big time numbers-wise, while not artistic-wise, as far as I can tell. Disappointing, but whatever. We get this music. It's available and it's wonderful. Carrying on. Yeah, so the top vocal there feels like it's a little bit improvised and free. It's not just giving us a repetitious melody. The backing vocals slightly more well composed or deliberately composed, so they're going da da da, always with the same rhythm, and always coming off straight away as well at that last note, leaving the reverb tail just to say goodbye.
You know I need you here in my life, have you by my side. I can never give this up, even if I tried. I'm reserved for you, they can't have my time.
So here it's more like the rhythm that we had on Thief and Flood, because we're not emphasizing the 4, we're emphasizing the 4 and. So it's that last bada before we move on to the next bar. Even if I tried. So it has more of the feeling of those ones. Maybe you can feel that.
I see heaven when I look at you in the eye. It's a blessing we alive. I'm always on what we be on when we decide. Being in your arms is the freest I've ever felt. I is him and he is I.
Nice there how the line carried on. Is the freest I've ever felt. So the rhyme still came, I've, but then ever felt carried on into the next thing, which is a lovely thing to do. It just switches things up. It doesn't ruin the rhyme scheme. It doesn't ruin the scansion. Not that scansion is a big issue here. We can fit quite a lot of syllables or quite a few small amount of syllables into these lines if we want to. Nice. Again, they're coming in and out of the space there. Those vocals, not like that.
When you ain't here, babe, I've been needing your
They sound ghostly, ghostly or angelic or one of these things, just haunting this space, swirling around in time and space.
As if your voice it wasn't healing enough. Sometimes you gotta let.
And both phrases there were different as well, so you get this absolute beautiful complexity.
Go, baby. Understand when your house.
Okay, we've got that.
Baby.
We've got those baby influences, I get, or rhymes. Rhymes? No, I don't know. But we've gone back to a particular rhyme scheme we had before, which is on the 3 and the 3 ah.
Through the rain, we built up the courage. So now the harder they come, we rising above it. No.
Yeah, and the courage and the above it are in the same place, aren't they? So that is actually more like a pre-chorus or something like that, rather than a continuation of the verse. I wonder if it's the same words. You don't get. Why has that gone so big? Was that so big before? Where are we? Sometimes you gotta let it go, baby. Did we get it the previous time? So many words. Did I miss it? What? Why is it not there? Well, let's have a listen. It was somewhere around here, I think, wasn't it?
Queen, baby.
Okay. No. Okay, so these are different words, aren't they? The different words. Fine. Okay. Good answer.
Understand when your house ain't a home, baby. Through the rain, we built up the courage. So now the harder they come, we rising above it.
Yeah.
No.
Love it. And then into our chorus, maybe. So I don't think the texture is any thicker here than it was last time. No, I think it is. I think there's a cheeky string line that's in there as well. just adding a tiny bit more texture, more space, more crowded space. Okay, so what's missing from this next section? The piano. We've got those strings, jump, 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 just up on that top D, doing that rhythm. We've got the drums absolutely caning it, and we've got the bass, and the bass is not giving us as crazy flowery a line here either. It is just going with those, something like that. It's not even that, it's like boom, 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 something like that. So the heart now is really that feel my heart, and then the vocal, which was dominant in the previous section, now is almost the counterpoint to that other one. It's less important, filling in the space in between those things, but it's really nice, and a section that again you wouldn't expect from a UK hip-hop artist. It's really great, and that feels like damning. Trust me, I would be very, very happy to hear more of this, and I hope that there is more, and there's a chance that I'm just not aware of it. Okay, we've got a cowbell coming in there. Another thing, or well, it might not be an actual cowbell. Yeah, another complexity to the percussion and the polyrhythmic feel of this track. It's great.
Look, however you need me, I'm down for the cause. If you say we're going to war, we're going to war. Cause even when I fail to see myself, baby, see me. Genius, man, something you can teach me. I'll tell you my truth, we ain't gotta move.
It's still in here, whereas we've lost most of the vocals.
If it's down to me, it be up to you. I'm the proof, I'm no one to choose, not no one to lose. Go.
Okay, and now we've lost the drums, I think, for the first time in this track. So we're on the way out, aren't we? We've got the vocals going do, do, do. And the main vocal taking up that space. Nice, nice E there, just a little bit higher than normal. Now we're back in with that thicker texture, drums, vocals doing their normal thing, and flutes to end. Just a little bit, barely noticeable, but they were there. Just thickening that very romantic 60s orchestra kind of texture. Lovely stuff. Yeah, great. I'm going to leave it there because 11:30 is normally when I end these, and I know I started late. But I'm feeling pretty crap, so I don't want to continue doing this. I will definitely continue listening to the album. But yeah, another massive success from the most ingenious artist here. Little Simz is really great. Yeah, inspiring to me. I would like to be as innovative and exciting as Little Simz too. Okay, see you soon. Bye bye. Have a nice day and a nice life. Bye.